All rise for the flag salute.
Shut this off or
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes from last week?
Yes, sir.
Is there any additions or corrections?
I did not see any. Do you see anything? Do you find anything?
I didn't find anything.
I'd make a motion, Mr. Chairman, we approve it as presented, the minutes. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Same sign. Pass 3-0. Committee reports. Bill, do you have any committee
I
meetings?
haven't had anything, no, sir.
Jack, did you have any? No?
I went to the communications meeting, but I think we were updated on that this morning. The budget was approved, and
Okay.
they presented it to the city commission. Last item was approved by the city commission.
Okay. I had an ambulance advisory board last Friday afternoon. Went over the 2018 budget, reviewed the progress of service. We did view the remounted ambulance box is back. It looks sharp, looks like a brand new one. Had a chance to look at that. He had a few minor things but it was all under the warranty package. There was
that the silver and blue scheme of paint?
Yeah, it's the
I like
silver
that.
with the dark blue trim.
I like the looks of that.
Which is almost the inverse of the old
Correct.
blue and silver that we had. Originally, he was going to go with a maroon, but
Yes.
decided it was going to be look too separate from what the old ambulances were. So they look good. Anyway, the minor things have been taken care of, and then basically we went over things on the Eclipse and how they were staging ambulances, things like that. So,
Did Tech ever pay for that last repair bill that we had, or was that brought up? They owed for something. I don't know if it was body and fender. I believe it was body and fender. A door or something fell off.
it was the scratch from it was a fire truck or something there. I don't know. I haven't asked, and I can get back with Corey.
I just wondered.
Well, that is something that
They committed to paying it, but at the last time I heard it hadn't been paid yet.
okay. I'll ask, and that's all I had on committee reports. All right, Melissa, I think we're ready for your update.
I guess we used to have a lot of our boxes of papers that were required to keep stored in the attic here, and then they were moved down to the health department basement, and some of them got wet because they had a pipe burst or whatever. So Amanda and I went over there and we rescued what we could and moved them over to the recycle center and put a tarp over them in case that roof leaks. But I think they're not in the best place, and they don't want us to leave them there forever. So I'm kind of on a mission to try to find a spot because some of our records were required to keep permanently.
I believe Wes's suggestion was to put shelves along one wall that wouldn't interfere.
That was Joe Bowen, not
Oh, that
Wes.
was Joe that suggested that? I know somebody suggested
Which
that.
I think that it's fine with me, but I think that ought to be run by everyone that's involved out there. Because I know the sheriff uses that building quite extensively for different things, and if he's got things that need to be locked up, I don't know if he wants everybody coming and going. I don't know how much activity is out there, but that's something that we need to maybe discuss as a group, or put an email out, or probably.
And I'm presuming this is stuff that we have to maintained for a while.
Yeah, the Historical Society has a list of things that we are required to retain permanently or for a certain number of years, and so unfortunately we can't get rid of it, so we have to store it. And we don't really have a storage room for this kind of stuff around here, so we have to put it somewhere.
Yeah. I really hate to see it go back down there, but if it would go back to the health department, I recommend that we put things up highly on, if we could just put some cement blocks and
I had
shelves.
no idea that we had stuff over there on the floor. I mean, because
It
putting
should
it
have
on
never-
the floor of a basement is probably never a good idea.
That's never a good idea, although, like Joe pointed out, if stuff goes down there, if we had a major leak, it would basically be a swimming pool. It would get wet. But most of the things are some runoff water, like this pipe burst, which was just minimal, but this stuff was actually sitting on the
It was
ground.
sitting on the floor. There were some other things that were sitting on pallets and such, or shelves that were from
Well, I
other
think
departments.
stuff that Pauline had down there is safe. But
I don't know what kind of space there is there.
there's quite a bit of room, but it's just one thing. I said there ought to be a sign. Nothing comes back down here unless it's a minimum of, like 2 feet off the ground. And if all else fails, that it would still be available to store it there
I
again.
wonder if some point in time we want to consider buying some used containers and setting them someplace and say, okay, this is the appraisers and this is the clerk.
Oh, like the container boxes
That
that.
go overseas. You can get them for like $1,500 and set them someplace. I mean, they're not pretty, but
Are they
I
mouse
did-
proof?
well, I don't know.
That's where you get into papers and records. You better be mouse proof.
They would be more proof than a used semi-trailer box.
Oh
But
yeah.
now whether they say weather tight, so
This would be a good strategic question about how we want to store records as a county. Do we want to have a storage building? What's the security? I
Now-
think we've got to answer that question eventually because it sounds like it's a big issue.
they say upstairs. I've never seen it, but just boxes on top boxes on top
Oh,
of boxes.
Third floor. Yeah.
Well, I don't think they want my boxes in the recycle center for very much longer. I think.
You say they, are you talking?
Well, Dirk's the one that mentioned it to me, that he said I might want to think about trying to find alternate storage.
Dirk.
Dirk from the
He's-
sheriff's office, he's the
Oh.
one that mentioned it to me, so,
So I was wondering if the sheriff's office would not
Yeah.
want them there.
yeah,
Yeah,
so.
maintenance, pretty sure.
So I'm looking.
What about
Some
at the
Philadelphia.
EMS? Of course, we don't want a lot of in and out traffic, but that one building has got 6 or
units.
7 they're
I
divided and
think
doors.
they're,
I don't know about security though.
Getting ready to do,
Open that all up.
changing in that building, and you don't wanna like put stuff in there in the middle of a remodel project or whatever.
No,
Yeah.
we don't want to move it 10 times. But putting it back down in the basement, that's out of sight, out of mind. But is that a good business to?
Well, Wes had mentioned, that I might wanna check on, there's an office in that recycle building that has like a flat roof, and he didn't know what the weight capacity of that was, and he thought that might be a flat spot to store some stuff. Of course, you'd have to get a forklift or something to lift it up there, and I haven't talked to anybody about that, or even if that's a possibility.
Have you looked at them lately? Have they been ruined or?
Some of them got ruined to the point where we couldn't save them. Some of them were personal property records where we're supposed to retain personal property records for a certain period of years, and then we could get rid of them unless there's delinquent ones in there. And so to sift through and pick out, the delinquent ones
It's
is
easier
just
just to-
harder than just hanging on to them for a while. And some of those had to get tossed,
Now-
even with the delinquents.
Going forward, are you required to save paper copies, or can that be something that goes into scanning
You know,
and?
Well,
that's
she
been
was one of the first ones to be
discussed,
scanned.
that's been discussed with some other offices too on record retention, and can we retain an electronic version of it? And I think we can retain an electronic version of it.
That's,
Isn't that what you got from that?
well, I mean,
Yeah.
so we just don't do this for another 20 years of
Right.
20 more years of record sitting there, and that goes, yeah, for all offices. But
Right.
although some offices may have different statutes and requirements of how long things are saved and what form, so.
I think we could convert it to electronic. And had I known that this stuff existed when there was some scanning going on previously, I might have suggested that we scan, but I didn't know they were there.
Yeah. Okay. We'll try to keep that in mind and help you out and see if we can find a place for them.
Okay, and then I wanted to update you on our ratio study. The state property valuation division does a ratio study because the county appraiser's offices are supposed to appraise property at market value, you know, except for ag. Ag's not appraised at market value. And so they do a ratio study comparing properties that have sold with the values that we have on them to make sure that we're doing a good job and make sure that we're in compliance. And they put out a preliminary ratio study, and they also give us an opportunity to appeal some of the sales that they use in the study, because they validate to make sure they're good arm's length transactions, and sometimes some of them slip through that aren't valid sales, so we did appeal some of them. But our median ratio for residential sales is 101.9. 100 would be perfect, and nobody's really perfect, right?
That's pretty good. That
Yeah,
101.9.
100.9, that is pretty good. And then they do a confidence interval. It's another measure, 99.4 to 105.9. 95% confident that our ratios will be in there. And then they do a COD to determine uniformity, how close to that median ratio are appraisals falling. And you have to be under 20 in order to be in compliance. Our residential COD is 15.4, and then they do a confidence interval there. And then they do a price-related differential to see if we're underappraising, if we're undervaluing lower priced property and overvaluing higher priced property or whatever. And our PRD is a little high. It's 1.07, 1.00 again would be perfect. If we were under 1, it would mean we were, and this is, I always have to think about this, but because of the fact that we're over 1 on our PRD, price-related differential, it means that we're kind of overvaluing the lower priced properties, which you really don't want to do. It's just, they're the hardest ones to appraise because, I mean, I don't know, for some reason they just are. It's easy to overappraise the really lower value property, and we are doing that.
Why is that? Because you just say a 3-bedroom, 1 bath is worth so much. And
No, it's because like say you have a property that's worth $10,000. That's not a very good house. And it's hard to find comparable sales, because a lot of times if a property sells for somewhere around there, it's probably a distressed sale, a foreclosure, that kind of thing. You don't really have a lot of open market sales that are good comparables for that property, and we don't get to go inside, and sometimes those are the, I don't know, it's just, those are hard to hit.
I could see that,
They're
where
just
you
hard
would,
to hit. Couldn't hit those
you think,
numbers.
well, the lot's worth half of that, so, you know, yeah.
Yeah.
Location, but when it comes
Yeah.
down,
$25,000 houses, $10,000 houses, sometimes those are just, they're hard to hit. They really are. We want to, our goal is to hit market value every time, but it's not always possible.
I don't think that's basically achievable. I think if you get
No.
there, it's gonna be that lucky year where you're right on, and then you may have years when you're off the mark for quite a while. So it's like cards, I think.
Our commercial median ratio is 99.1. Our commercial COD is 13.2. And again, we need to be under 20. that. That's measuring our uniformity. Our commercial price-related differential, again, is 1.10, which means we are, again, overvaluing the lower priced properties. So that's a number we need to work on. And these are preliminary numbers too. This isn't our final 2016 ratio study. But all of our numbers look really good, except for that PRD. We need to work on that.
So is that this generated to help you just indicate where you are maybe off and you adjust accordingly? Or, I mean,
This is our grade card.
yeah, but I mean, then do you take that information and actually adjust the way you're doing it, or?
Yeah, I mean, this is our preliminary ratio study, and then definitely we look at it and we go, I talk to the girls and say, this is something we really need to be careful on as we do our final review this year. Is we want to make sure that we focus attention on those lower value properties and make sure that we're really careful not to overvalue those, because we tend to. Yeah, we don't want to.
You
We
want
don't want to be wrong
right,
either way,
right.
but we especially need to be careful about being wrong on the upper side of things, because we're able to hide there.
Well, I guess what I was getting at is how much of it is discretionary where you actually go in, and that's, at what point does that enter in, and knowing that, okay, we're overvaluing
Well,
this
like for
section of,
residential, we have choices on our comp sheet between the cost approach or the comparable sales approach, and then we have some other numbers that we could use, like the MRA, which is multiple regression analysis, and that's just kind of like adding up all the pieces, the bathrooms, the square footage, based on this quality construction, all the pieces that we use in when we do adjustments to comparable sales. They kind of all have a number. An extra bath brings this much on the market. Attached garage, this size brings this much on the market. So the MRA is a choice. Weighted average, like putting more weight on the most comparable comp. So we have a variety of numbers that we can use on our comp sheet. And we like to use comparable sales if our comps are really comparable, but sometimes they're not all that comparable. Then we kind of lean on the cost approach if it looks like a good value. But if we're thinking it looks a little high, then we might want to look to see if the MRA of one of these weighted values or adjusted sell price of one of these comps looks a little lower. So there's some discretion there,
okay,
and there's some instinct to maybe go for one of the higher numbers or one of the lower numbers, or, oh look, they're asking $100,000 for this property. It's for sale right now, and comp sales is coming in at like 110,000. It's like, I don't want to put 110,000 on something that they're asking $100,000 for, because 110 is going to be too high, that kind of thing. So we might want to pick one of the lower numbers, that kind of thing.
mm-hmm.
So that's on residential. And then on if all of our numbers look too high, we might have a condition, or there might be something wrong with our data that we need to look at. There's all kinds of things that go into it, but and commercial.
Interesting.
Okay, so that's that, and I'll keep you posted every time I get a report. My goal is to keep you guys informed of what. And also, they have this new thing: if I'm not in compliance, the state comes and has a talk with you. And the state, if I'm not in compliance on commercial property, the state is required to reappraise 1% of the commercial properties in town. That's a new thing with the.
And then charge us for it.
And I don't think they've added that in yet, but.
That's a lot of it.
No, they haven't. They haven't done that yet. But that was one of the things the legislators changed in recent years. Is which is a real burden to PVD. Maybe not so much for a county like this, but for a Johnson County or a Sedgwick County, if one of those counties were to be not in compliance with their commercial properties, that would be a huge burden, because they don't have the staff to do that. They don't have the staff at all. But anyhow, moving on to, we have a new data collector now. Did I come and introduce you guys to him? He's Mike Regenstein. He's Louise's son.
Okay.
But he's been going out in the field with Belinda and Debbie and learning how to do data collection. And he has some experience in the real estate world. And in building and remodeling, he has some experience in that too. So I think he's going to pick up on this stuff pretty quickly on data collection and stuff. So.
Okay.
I put together, in the interest of good PR, a presentation, kind of an overview of what we do in the appraiser's office, to give to the Rotary Club at a luncheon on August 24th. Just the County Appraisers Association encourages PR, you know, public relations. This is what we do, kind of tell people what it is, so they're not under the impression that we're the bad guys that are trying to raise their taxes, but really we're the people that want to keep things fair and equitable. So I'm going to do that, and Debbie's going to come with me. The goal is to have Debbie maybe give this presentation to county staff at maybe a wellness luncheon or something, just to give her some public speaking experience. I think she'd be a lot more comfortable doing it in front of county staff instead of a Rotary group or some people that she doesn't know at all. So, Jamie's going to try to get that worked out on the time that she can do that.
Sounds great.
And well, I've got classes this week. This is a bad month for me because I'm hardly in the office. I've got 3 classes to go to, and I was going to have jury duty the whole first week of August. But thankfully, they didn't have any trials for me. I didn't have to go. I would not be in the office at all. I would have had to do that, but just busy.
Anything new with, I don't know what they call themselves, but the group of Bouldridges that come up here and they was,
Mr. Bouldridge, Calvin called me the other day, wanted to know if I had heard anything about their Board of Tax Appeals hearing being scheduled, and I have not. It's not, and I hear that BOTA is really backed up, so I don't know when they're going to get scheduled.
Okay.
It's still
looks like it'd be getting close because that's been, what, a couple months?
it's been
Yeah.
a while.
It's been quite a while.
But it's out of our hands. I mean, you give them all the info they asked for and needed.
And I'll have to prepare a packet of data to send over to BOTA that shows pictures of their maps and whatever, our values, once I get the go-ahead. And I'm not sure exactly what they decided to move forward with on appeals, because they had to pay a certain amount of money for each one of those appeals, and one of them we had $250 on for a value of $250. It was a real small tract. So I don't know if they moved forward with that one or not, but one of them, they just thought of it as part of their farm and they wanted it included, but it wasn't one that even had anything that could probably possibly be changed, I don't think. So maybe if she had an opportunity to not appeal that one further.
Calvin did a lot of research. You could tell that the way he was talking. He
Yeah.
did.
So I don't know what the final parcels are to move forward with going ahead and getting their BOTA packets ready to send over. So I'm kind of waiting to hear from BOTA too, so I know what to do.
And on the
Okay.
old KFC, that's been finalized, isn't it? Or is that
Yeah,
still up?
that thing is just sitting there for sale.
But we had a tax
reduced-
hearing on that. and we-
Yeah, it was a phone hearing though. It was small claims. They had reduced that value to $275,000, I think. They wanted $250 on it. They're still asking, as far as I know, $695,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're asking a lot more than that for it.
Yeah, it's still on the market. I haven't checked lately to see if they've reduced their asking price, but last time I looked.
I would
it was
think
still
with the new KFC Taco Bell coming in that he pretty much lost his chance to sell it.
Yeah, I don't think that they were trying to sell it to KFC or Taco Bell. They weren't marketing it to them.
Strictly for them?
The franchise kicked them out and said, change your colors on your building, repaint it. We're not affiliating ourselves with you anymore. But I was thinking maybe they would go after somebody like a Popeyes or.
Well, see, that's the rumor I heard that they was coming to town.
Yeah.
No, because I just I was at a Project Atchison meeting Wednesday night, and Karen Seberg spoke on the Amelia and the plane. Anyway, she said the first thing, she goes, "No, Popeyes is not coming to Long John Silver." She said she has been getting calls, and she said it's not
The
true.
rumor I heard that Papa Murphy's was going to go to Long John Silver's.
Well,
Really? I like Papa Murphy's. I do.
anyway,
Of course, you can hear anything.
yeah.
Yeah.
Rumors are cheap,
Yeah.
and you get what you pay for.
So did Long John's close?
Yes,
I knew that
they are
They've
closed.
been closed probably close to a month now, or maybe over a month. Shortly after Lent, they closed.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank you guys.
You sticking around, or you leaving? Or?
Mom, you need me.
Okay,
Do you need me?
I
No.
don't think so.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
come on up, George.
Oh, one other thing. Come here for a second. Shelley Campbell come today, and she said she had like 35,000 that she could, if you need, and she mentioned a plotter or something.
Oh, that might be something to talk to Roger about because,
Well, she'd mentioned Roger, but
yeah, because his plotter probably is getting kind of old. by
well,
now.
then Roger
Was-
needs to.
Was that in your budget or
No.
to be replaced this year?
That's
So
not going to help us then.
Well, I mean,
No.
that would be, I don't know. I don't know if that was in the appraiser's budget ever. Because
well, I think she said that they went together at one time about the last one they got, didn't she?
Oh, really? Because
believe
I
so.
haven't had any discussion about plotter.
Okay.
So I just assumed that was Roger's IT thing, but maybe it was appraisers.
I don't know, but
You
Okay.
know?
if it's not been budgeted, that's really. I mean, it's good that you share the money, but it's not
Yeah.
going to.
That's not going to help. We're
Well,
after
maybe-
to get this.
Maybe
budget
it
here,
was
but-
maybe it was an IT budget item. Who knows? I'll talk to Roger. He's at a class today, but he'll be back
All right.
tomorrow. I'll ask him if he knows anything about that.
Well, he can get with Shelley.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me read that. Nancy made that out for me.
Oh. Okay, I'll just read it out loud since there's one copy. It says, County Commissioners, I am enclosing documents showing that the township road, which we have been discussing, is 40 foot on me. I know the county shows 20 foot on me and 20 foot on my neighbor to the north because of the quarter section line. It is obvious by physical inspection the road is more than 20 foot on my side. Site inspection shows the northwest corner survey marker and where the road is, which is on me. My neighbor has a ditch on him, which is shown to be constructed when the road was built as part of the agreement regarding damages. There is also case law, Schaefer versus Weech, 34 Kansas, page 595, where the township board wanted to move the road to the location stated in the county surveyor's report on the report of the road opening. The court ruled that when the real facts as to where a road was surveyed and located are shown by other and better evidence, the map and field notes can no longer control. So I request the 40 foot by 2,640 foot road be taken off my tax records, as it is a public road and the road is on my property and not on the quarter section line split. I also request an adjustment to the amount of land shown on the tax records. And sincerely, George Shepard. Do you want to see it? Oh, we've had this electronically before.
Yeah, they come out of the courthouse.
Do you want to see any of that?
A 40-foot road, and the ditch south on me is a 40-foot road. Where they're done the ditch. And the ditch is on the line.
So what you're disputing is basically 20 foot because you pay taxes to the middle of the road. 20 feet times 200 or 2640, I don't know how many acres that is. Correct?
We've already granted the, taken off the
20 feet.
20 feet.
Well, he has paid the middle of the road, his taxes.
Correct? We have taken off the 20
Haven't
feet.
taken anything off yet.
And I believe that was what was,
I've never got any papers that said they take it off.
well, I think there was also discussion of, at one time of you said you were going to donate that ground so it would be taken off.
Yeah, and I told her that, and then she said, oh my. I said, you have to take 30 off to the north already, so that'll make a 60-foot road. She says, oh my. Well, oh my what?
You'd have to take off, I'm not following.
Not either.
According to her.
According to Miss Crane or your daughter?
No, the.
Melissa Crane?
For the
She
treasurer.
says the ditch, there's 20 foot on my neighbor and 20 foot on me. The ditch is the line. Instead of the road. I said, since when do they put a ditch down the middle of the road? That's what it amounts to. You follow me there?
Well, it was built, what, 1970?
No, 1930,
30.
yeah.
So this has been this way since 1930.
Yeah, and they've never taken taxes off of me since I've owned that road. And according to the contract, 40 foot should come off south of the ditch, which is all on me. Yeah.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. I know that I had sent the email version of all of that, and plus the pictures that I think your daughter Nancy had sent to the court and to courthouse and to us. I had sent them to K.A.C. I can never think of his name. Norm Bowers. He's a road specialist, and he looked at him and he agreed with the county on the survey, the way it was written, and he said we had legal standing on the way it stands now. Have you seen that?
Oh,
No. I'll see if I've got it and I can send it to Nancy.
yeah. Yeah.
I will see.
If somebody has a wreck on that road and it gets on my 20 foot, or not your 20 foot, my 20 foot, they'll sue me. Because it's only a 20-foot road, but they wreck on my side. But they come down the road and wreck on my side. And there are a lot of four-wheelers going down that road, go down to Hunt.
I think that'd fall back on the township, wouldn't it? Is that a township road?
It's, yeah,
So it'd be their liability. I
it'd be
would
the
think.
township liability.
I would think.
Yeah, but you say there's only going to be a 20-foot road. She tried to explain to me that they only use 20 foot.
That is about a 20-foot roadway there.
But it's more than that. You measured it, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
And then you come up 30 foot.
No, it was less than,
To the
no, it
long
was
stalk.
8 rows. 8 times 30 inches would be what?
240.
240 inches divided by
20
12.
feet.
20 feet. Because I said if you'd plant to the edge of the road, it would have been about 8 rows. corn as I stepped it off.
from the ditch.
Yeah, because I got down in the ditch. Yeah, and then I stepped it off to the first row of crop. I think it was corn that was there. I don't remember what time of year was that? Well, stalks. It was corn stalks. So at that time.
And they put a extension on the culvert, but there's no record of it, and I never authorized it.
Well,
That's on
that is
county
on the
prop-
that is on the
county property.
county
Right
property. That's
away.
not on your right of way. That's
I know,
on.
But if I'd asked for an extension, I'd had to pay for it, right?
No, not as a. We supply culverts to
Well, that,
almost anybody that needs to get access to property. Now, we don't approve every one of them because it has to be in a correct spot or things like that. But if it's a county road, we supply tubes for driveways and everything.
Commissioner, no, I think Mr. Shepherd's right. If the landowner will buy the extension, they have to buy it. The county will put it in at no expense, but the landowner has to buy the extension. Because I had a similar case down there
Yeah.
for Mr. Penning, that he wanted to extend it because he bought a bigger trailer. And I said something to Seth, said, you tell him to buy the pipe and we will put it in.
Well, I don't know if there's no record, I don't know whether the county purchased that extension or whether a farmer that farmed down there just bought it and dropped it off and the county put it in. That would be a possibility because there's been.
Russell Richard lived just up the road.
Mhm.
He said he seen the county putting it in. Now, he didn't say who put it in, or
Or who bought it? Yeah, I don't know, and I don't know how long ago that's been.
Maybe one of the landowners to the south of you that used that road requested it.
You mean that uses that road for access?
Or whichever direction
I
it is.
don't know, they didn't admit they did.
I mean, I don't know.
Well, I really don't see that as an issue. I think that'd be a benefit.
Well, yeah, it's all right,
So,
but I just wondered that there's no record of it.
I can't argue because I don't know if there is or there isn't. I can't.
Yeah, well, I went up to the office and he looked it up, he said he couldn't find it. This is
But
this fella is.
Seth.
What's the extension of a tube got to do with your main issue? I don't know what your issue is. I thought it was tax dollars. Now it's the width of the road, and
No,
next week.
Yeah, it is the width of the road, but the culvert don't have nothing to do with it, I don't care about that. But it was a deal that, why did they put it on, I didn't ask for it.
Well, it could have been somebody else. That's
Well,
the
then
easy
we-
explanation.
Then we need to go out there and just tear the whole tube out. Then that'll solve that problem.
Well, we can't because that's the access for the other people that live, have crops down there.
Well, we'll tear the extension out. Nobody asked for it. Nobody wants it.
Well, I think the reason they put it in, because they got trailer trucks, and they need a bigger wide turn.
Probably.
There's one of them put it in, I don't know which one. But I'm not gonna call either one of them. a liar.
So you say the road is 40 feet on you,
Yes,
and the actual road is 20 feet wide.
they said that's all they need is 20 foot, that's what she said.
That's what they're using.
So if you're saying the road is 40 foot on you, where's your first row of crop? Right on the edge of the road, or is it 20 feet from the edge of that road out?
But
No, it's right on it's the roadway, and there's a stalk
Well,
corn.
there's
I mean,
no 40 foot then.
no.
There's no 40 foot.
Actually, the road bed would be 20 feet, and then it's crop ground.
But state law says all public roads would be 40 foot, at least 40 foot.
So you'd be farming 20 feet you'd be farming 20 feet on the road.
Yep.
Well, they do on the highway too.
No.
I haven't seen any crops going down the middle of the highway.
Or even up
Yeah.
between Larkenburg and Arrington, they put white posts out there so people wouldn't farm out.
Yeah, and they go in around them.
Mm-hmm.
You've probably seen that too.
Mm-hmm.
it's no big deal to me, but
So, if you're farming at 20 feet, you're getting profits, that 20 feet should be on the tax roll. Correct?
you know. but
Well, then you shouldn't be farming it then.
Well,
You can't have it both ways, sir.
I'll quit farming it, but you keep the brush out. But
You have to talk to your township.
That's township.
That's
yeah,
township.
just look at my road, on Bartlett Road, nothing but brush.
Or, I don't know where you
I'm
live,
not
so
familiar with Barton Road.
I'm not either.
Well, it's right there at the road. Where the road goes in on me.
From
Bartlett
there,
Road goes on south, a half mile on me.
Well, I don't recall no brush on that road. Unless you're going south further, maybe.
Bartlett, are you into Jefferson County then?
No, I'm right on the county line.
Okay.
County line.
I guess I haven't been south of that driveway.
Yeah, colored brush. And Johnson grass, which is noxious weed, but you don't take care of.
Which our spray truck was broke down, so I know Seth was just asking me for, but I'll put it down that you've got Johnson grass on Bartlett. He just called me last week, said they got their truck up and running. He was looking for Johnson grass spots, and I knew of a couple spots, and they were out spraying on. I've seen this; they have been hitting it hard,
Yeah.
so I'll let him know on that.
And you're not making a decision today, or you already have.
I really don't know what there is to decide, sir.
Well, I want a 40-foot right of way, and I want it off my taxes.
Well, I don't think. I'm going to say I don't think that I'm ready to do that. So I don't know what the
I'm
other
not ready to
commissioners.
do it.
Well, I would refer it back to the assessor.
To what?
I would ask the assessor for her opinion on
She's done give it.
She's given it. I mean,
it.
of course, this has been. This is our new commissioner, Jack Bauer,
But
Mr. Shepard. I should have introduced you right off the bat. So, I guess I haven't seen any new compelling evidence to do anything different.
Well, she's strictly on this county line or the division line where the ditch is. And she wants 20 foot on the other side, 20 foot on me. That's her standing.
Have you been to your township board meeting? That would be a township road. What do they say about it?
I haven't been there. I don't know when their meetings are.
Do we have that? Let's see. Where did I do with that? I don't know if I've got that one or not.
Well, I asked Russell Richard about it, and they referred it to the county. That's
Well, that would be taxation matters, and I think that's what we shake out on the taxation part of it. But as far as road width and everything, I don't have where their meeting's at. I've got last Tuesday of the month, but
We could give him information and a phone number, or he can call him or that. We can give him the trustee's name and number.
okay. Well, you've got Russell's.
yeah, I got Russell number. I can call him.
Okay,
Find out that.
that would be my suggestion. But I doubt if they can help you. But
I just don't see that you're farming 20 feet from line and you're claiming that the road's 40 feet on you, but yet you're farming up the road. I'm lost. I don't get that.
The state says a roadway is 40 foot. And if it's 40 foot, they've got to take the taxes off.
So what you're saying is, and I believe it was around 20 bucks. For 20 bucks, you want to hold your crops 20 feet further off that road. So you want to have 20 feet of grass on the,
Well, I'm farming this way. Because the road comes up and comes down on me.
you would have to
you'd have to
basically
stay back the 40 feet, then you couldn't farm that.
you'd have to stay back another 20 feet for the full half mile.
Sure.
But because it would be 40 feet from the road ditch, you're encroaching on the road. Yeah, if it,
It don't matter to me, I can give you a third of the crop. That'd help you.
no. Well, sir, I think that's probably our allotted time, but,
Okay,
Um,
that's fine.
okay, thank you for coming.
Yeah,
And I'll get on
Nice
that
to meet
Johnson
you,
grass.
George.
Hmm?
Nice to meet you.
yeah, thank you.
Okay, where are we at? Nice suggestion, Michelle. She wrote me a note about the township, and I kind of hate to put him on there, but I knew Russell was part of that, and he's buddy with Russell. I think they kind of sicked him on us.
I think you're right.
So
Well, he can't have the 20 feet off the taxes, but yet he wants to farm it. I mean, that,
And even if you, the three, you guys, the township board and Mr. Shepherd get together, I
I
think,
think it's about 100% on between Mr. Shepherd and the township. The county shouldn't even be involved in
the
this.
thing of it is the road was actually platted out. The roads are typically platted out on section lines. Where they actually put the roads is a different story. The road was curved, if I'm understanding everything right, correct. It's curved onto Mr. Shepherd's property, but that is not where the intent of the road was. The intent of the road was on that section line. That's why 20 foot was given to the other neighbor, 20 foot was given to Mr. Shepherd. Because of where the road has moved, the river moves, you can't.
well, I don't think that curve is part of his main.
It's a straight shot. what he's put-
Is
the
straight,
curve
but
is
then it
out.
curves beyond his property. So the
He
curves.
feels that the whole road is on his property, but that's not the plat of how it is. The legal description of the road goes down section 9.
Well, to
The-
me, the road was built in 1930, correct? So he
Yeah.
said. He bought the property in the early 70s. The road was already there, it's been established, and then now we're from 70 to now, this many years, and all of a sudden he's complaining. Looks like, I always thought when a line was established for so long, that's the line. And if you disagree with it, you better disagree. I think it was 7 years.
And Pat alluded to the fact that if a road is encroached over the years and years and years, even though the original road was platted here, but it is eventually 20, 30 feet over, you can't do anything about it because it's a natural progression. They've got, he said the law will stand behind it. You're not going to have to all of a sudden go back in and straighten that road or resurvey it and build a new road. So I'm standing with, Pat's looked at it and Norm Bowers has looked at it. I will send, I know I kept that, I'll send Norm's assessment of the situation, I'll send that to Nancy. So George can see that too. So
Now, we got the township that should be taking care of it. Now the county's involved, and now they're gonna have the state involved.
well, the reason he's involved us is he wants that tax dollars taken off. That's his whole
Which
thing.
is less than $20.
Yeah. So, okay, moving on. Do we have anything else? Well, we've got,
We got a voting delegate day, you two.
yes. We've got a voting delegate form from, I got K Camp there, what do I have? K.A.C. Oh, I wrote that. Okay. Voting delegates for the convention on the 14th, 15th, 16th of November. And we need a delegate and a first alternate for voting. Somebody want to nominate?
Is there just one, or is there more than one?
There's a delegate and then a first alternate.
But there's no other voting, and voting stuff.
No, but there will be on. Seemed like there's another deal that will happen at the same time that you will have to separately vote on, which is not, the paperwork's not here. It's not K.A.C, but it's K.C.C.A, which might come later. Well, are we a delegate to that voting.
County Commission?
Yeah. That will be forthcoming, but they need to have our voting delegates selected and in by, I think they want them now, so I'd be willing to serve if somebody wants to nominate me.
I make a motion, we have Chairman Eric Knoll be the voting and Commissioner Jack Bauer be the alternate. And then on the next vote, when we get it, I would flip-flop. Have Jack be the vote, and you be the alternate. You say they're the same day?
I believe so.
Wonder why
Yeah.
we haven't got that information.
Well, because happens in November.
I see, there's still plenty.
There's still plenty of time, but I don't know why they.
So I would second
Oh.
that motion.
Here, okay. Well, this don't need to be until October 20th, I'm sorry. But this has been in here for a couple weeks, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Let's just go ahead and send it in. So it's been moved and seconded for me to be the delegate and Commissioner Jack Bauer to be first alternate. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passed 3-0. Do you want to fill this out?
Right, absolutely.
Okay, I'll just leave that in here then.
Oh, so you're talking this right here, the next one then, right?
No, I don't. That's a different deal there. But I'm thinking that we have a.
K.S.A. That's K.S.A.
Camps right here. This is. I don't think anybody's done this before. This is K-Camp, our insurer, and they are. Is anyone interested in serving on the K-Camp Board of Trustees? I really don't know much about it.
Isn't that what Pat Henderson is, or is he Carrot?
Carrot.
Carrot.
K-Camp Nominations Committee is seeking qualified applicants to serve on the K-Camp Board of Trustees. Enclosed a flyer outlining the most important qualifications for serving on the board, as well as the benefits of the service. If anybody's interested, you might just want to look through here. Current trustees are President Sonia Stows from Marshall County, John Smith, Vice President from Stanton County, Rebecca Bossemeyer, Secretary from Garrett County, Ed Harbin, Financial Controller, Ellis County, Kathy Luthi, Claims Controller, Ottawa County, David Lamb from Lynn County, and Adam Smith from Wallace County. So, are either of you interested in serving on this? No, no, I'm not either. So we will. Okay. Okay, MOCAN. We talked about belonging to the MOCAN Regional Council, and I think that was last week, and I said I would get back, and I did talk to Trey at the city. The city is fine with us dropping the membership. They were really didn't care whether we did or not. They didn't see the benefits to belonging anymore, but if we chose to stay with it, they were fine with that too. But we were paying the full membership on behalf of us and the city, with kind of the asterisk that if there is something similar, that we would look at it in the future if there's maybe a new outfit. But anyway, I hear a motion to not pay.
I think we done did that, didn't we, last week?
The one you did last week was the portion that they sent just for the county. This is the bill that was received from the city portion. It was forwarded from the city.
Well,
Why wouldn't that be in the city's vote? then?
because
We've been
we've been paying both.
I see.
Both. As kind of, that was our economic development payments. So also when we rescind this, I think we'd want to send a letter just saying that we are wanting to drop it. Now, do we need to vote, make a motion to vote to not pay it?
I think since this is a separate.
I'd
bill.
move to drop the counties and the cities which we are paying membership of MOCAN.
I second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Passed 3-0. Okay. Any old or unfinished business?
Are we gonna discuss the August 21st? Business as usual, that means all departments are open and their employees within their office.
Okay. Is that a motion or just discussion?
Well, I think it's been decided it's business as usual. So yeah, if we need a motion, I make that motion, business as usual. All employees stay within their office and
All
conduct-
offices to be open.
Correct.
I'll second it.
Okay. Is there any further discussion on this? No? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Same sign. Pass 3-0. Okay.
Do we want to discuss command centers?
Well, I don't know. It's. You say this is this week or next because it's less than 2 weeks away from the event. What do you think?
Well, we got
About the command center.
We got 2 people here that can answer questions.
3.
On this, well, yeah, but on this August 21st, somebody's going to call in, and then everything's going to be dispatched out on the radio, or is there going to be phone calls?
We're talking about the command center out there versus the 911 dispatch center here.
The 911 dispatch center, correct me if I'm wrong, Ken, is going to operate just like it normally would. And they will page out EMS and rescue calls just like normal, but we will have that command center up. So when that call goes out over the normal channel, then as a command center, we'll dispatch the closest unit, closest available unit. So nothing really changes from Kim's standpoint at all. It's just that we'll be moving the pieces around because she's not going to know, or her dispatcher's not going to know exactly where our people are at any given time because they're not going to be in their normal stations.
So this
They'll
will
be at different events and that type of thing.
be something you would normally do? You would be the person who would normally.
Wes will actually be in charge, but yeah, this is something we would normally do for a large scale event anyway. We do the exact same thing for Lake Fest. It gets dispatched out over the radio, and then the incident commander at Lake Fest moves the pieces around within the event. So
Right,
this
but
is
you're not calling in extra county employees?
Yeah, we are bringing in extra.
I'm
For
talking about
ambulance.
for Lake Fest.
Oh, for Lake Fest, no, we don't normally bring in any extra outside of EMS and rescue employees, no.
Okay, I think the phone system, there's 5 phones going to be brought in out there. Who is
They're
that?
already there. That's already a designated emergency operations
Okay.
center anyway, so it's already set up for this.
Okay, where would the calls be coming from?
They'll still,
Are they going to, I thought that would be radioed.
the phones are set up in case the public is trying to reach somebody for a non-emergent thing. Questions and, like when the MGP event happened, the public just inundated the county and the city with calls that aren't necessarily an emergent call.
So
I-
where do they get the number?
The number is on the website and on the emergency preparedness system. This is already all set up. There's nothing
Well,
new being done here. It's just being, the emergency operations plan that we already have in place is just being utilized.
Okay. Well, I this is a little of a side, but I have many problems with the phone system now and the numbers and the 800 numbers that are being used that I don't know if people will know to call them. I mean, they're having a hard time. They're not in the phone book.
804 versus the 367.
Yeah. What's that? What did you say the number? Is it
804
804 number?
instead of 367.
The
So
emergency traffic isn't going to change at all.
I guess the
If
question I
somebody
have is,
calls- I'm sorry.
the question I have is why are we having to use extra county employees to man the command center?
We're not.
Well, that's not what I heard, that you had people coming out.
from the
We may utilize Jamie. Is she here yet? No, she's not
No.
here. We may utilize Jamie out there to help with the potential phone traffic. and also have somebody within the county hierarchy, given the scale, and we just don't know. But if Wes or I would have to leave that command post, she would take our place as the incident commander. You can't just take an emergency operations center and leave it unmanned once you've stood it up. But as far as drawing a bunch of extra county resources, we're not. We're just utilizing the existing emergency operations plan that's already in place.
Okay.
So
You know,
if
this has
somebody-
called attention to things that we're not normally privy to, so this is, you know, and last week is the first thing I know I had ever heard about. And you say this is the same thing, basically same protocol as Lake Fest then,
Very similar model.
okay?
So when the phone calls come into joint communications, says we have a problem, they will get on the radio, and whoever's listening to that radio would say, I'm close, I'll respond. So are we having duplications?
No, the emergency operation, Kim does nothing different. 911 call comes in, let's say BC calls for an ambulance, so they've got somebody overheated. She's gonna dispatch it out over the radio. EMS respond to BC College for an overheated individual. Those of us at the command post, Wes or I, will say, okay, the fire station is where our extra unit is stationed. We're gonna radio and say, go ahead and respond to that. But if that unit is out doing something else on another call, Kim isn't necessarily going to know where our mobile units are, because we're going to be spread
see
out in
that.
places we've never been
Okay.
before. So for Kim's employees to be able to say, ambulance number YZX respond to this, she's not necessarily going to know where they're stationed at any given time during a large scale event.
Or if they are already currently on a call, where the next available one would be.
But once they respond to the call, they're going to radio back to her dispatch and say, ambulance 792 is en route to BC and it's situation normal.
So if I understand, you haven't asked anybody else to volunteer at the,
Not outside of employees that'll be actually working out in the field, no.
so you haven't asked any other county employees?
No, just the EMS employees.
Jamie told me that herself and Melissa planned on coming, and that Connie was gonna go, but she was gonna be out of town or had a meeting.
Yeah, that would be the only thing is human resources may come out.
So I have a little bit of fear of when we say business as usual and then we're closing down one department, we're gonna hear from other departments that business as usual is business as usual. And now we're picking and choosing who we say is business as usual. I can understand the point now with the ambulances, but I still think there's gonna be a lot of duplications. That's not necessary. We got both of you in there to talk about this. We want to make sure we do it right.
We never did adjourn our meeting, so,
And I
there's the
will.
minutes on
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, there you go.
Okay, if there's no further business for our regular meeting, I would like to,
Oh yeah, it's 2
do I
o'clock.
hear a motion to adjourn?
I so move.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Pass 3-0.